This reaction is brought to you by my $5 or more supporters at coffee.com/AlexHeitz. I would like to thank Andres Glacial, Steph Newtown, Mark Ventura, Cole Alexander, Ben Thrifty, Jag, Isidro Perez, Thin Izzy, Lizard Man, also known as Bill, and Willman for sponsoring this video, supporting me and my family of the channel. I appreciate it immensely, and I hope you all enjoy this video. I already drank my coffee, so I am enjoying a Spindrift Mojito, which is my go-to sparkling water of choice. It's the best on planet Earth, as far as I know. I don't know. I'd kill for like a nice like rose water, sparkling water. That sounds awesome. Do those exist in America? Hello, everyone. Welcome to yet another album reaction video. Been a little while. I think I had to delay this recording by a week, if I'm not mistaken. Posted the Pygmalion reaction last on April 26th, and then we did a live re-listen for the Slowdive self-titled, which was better than I remember it being. No Longer Making Time, fantastic track. Falling Ashes, okay, it's okay. But you can go check that out. It'll probably be listed in the pinned comment down below, if there is one when you are watching this. But yeah, we are trucking forward and finishing up the main studio releases here from Slowdive. And then we will be going into the bootlegs. So we're going to do I Saw the Sun, possibly the Pygmalion demos if you guys want it. But then we'll do a poll album, then we're going right into Phil Elverum. It's going to be so great. But yeah, trucking forward with the most recent studio album release from Slowdive here. For those who don't know, I do unedited reactions on my Coffee page, coffee.com/AlexHeitz, for $5 a month. You can get access to unedited reactions going all the way back to April of 2021. The Modest Mouse discography is when I started doing them. Big back catalog of unedited reactions you can get access to for $5 a month. You can also hop in at the $1 per month level and get access to voting in polls that we do every 2 to 4 albums-ish. It kind of breaks up the monotony of going through like a full artist discography binge, and we get to interject some random miscellaneous albums into the mix. So if you want to support the channel, that'd be the place to do it. Also got to shout out NordVPN, link in the description for that. Got an affiliate link down there. Great VPN, great speeds, great prices. If you're in need of one, check them out. Everything is alive. Alive? Everything is alive. It's not really, though. Like, rocks, I don't think they're alive. But the jury's still out, I guess. I don't know. I could be wrong. This is the latest album from Slowdive, released September 2023. I have heard one track from this album, and that is Kisses, which I gave, I think, like a 3.5 out of 5. Is that correct? Yes, that's correct. Perfectly fine dream pop song, a little more in the indie pop realm than in the dream pop realm, I would say. Interesting to hear like where they are like songwriting sensibility wise in the 2020s, because like I feel like it's changed and shifted over time. So with this album, we have, how long is it? 8 tracks, 41 minutes. So these tracks are a bit longer. Shortest one is like just under 4 minutes actually. So yeah, this was so they had gone into the studio in 2020 to begin recording it, and they had actually booked sessions that were canceled because of the pandemic. And during the pandemic, Rachel's mom and Simon's father passed. Neil said that the music was more of an escape from the darkness that the band's members were going through. And I can kind of hear that on Kisses. Like, it definitely has more of a pop sensibility, so maybe a bit brighter, even though it still has that kind of Slowdive mysterious darkness to it a little bit. The album arose from material that Halstead wrote with modular synthesizers in 2019 for a planned electronic solo record, which he hasn't come out with a solo record in a hot minute. His last one was 2012. It was Palindrome Hunches. Nice. Which I still have not listened to that full thing, but yeah, his solo stuff kind of slowed slow dived a little bit around 2012, it seems. I don't know if he was kind of moving on to other stuff or what was going on there. I guess Slowdive was kind of reforming somewhere around that time. But yeah, he was unsure of the song Kisses, which was ultimately released as the album's lead single, as it felt too pop for him. So I don't know if the rest of the songs here are going to have that kind of popness to it, or I know some of them are a little more post-rocky. So I don't know what to expect. And with it being like a possibly electronic solo album origin, we could have like another Pygmalion situation on our hands. I don't know. Really don't know what to expect, but we're going to just hop right on into it, I think. I'm eager to hear the Slab at the end. Yeah, I don't know. There's Skin in the Game, Kisses, and the Slab, I think. Maybe Alife were singles? I don't remember. Yeah, but nothing really extra to add here. Eager to listen and see what we got on our hands. So, first track is Shanty. Oh, strong start. That was good. I mixed feelings on the production. There were times where like the vocals and the guitar were like mixed. They didn't like meld with the rest of the track. Um, I mean, maybe it's just like me being like overly like music brained, but like there were times in the track where I was like, oh, that's a little like it's kind of like a little bit of friction happening. I think unintentionally. Is mostly on the vocals, I would say. Surprisingly, the like electronic little synth riff there, that kind of the leitmotif, if you will, that kept through the whole song worked really well. And I've heard that done before. Similar kind of intervals like that played over most chords tend to work really well. But the mixture of that kind of like old school electronic synthesizer work over the top of the shoegazy atmospheric guitar works pretty well, actually. I will say that much. Very pleasantly supplied by that one. Anyway, next track, Prayer Remembered. Okay. Okay. Very similar type of situation with the first track where like my main qualm was production. Um, I don't know. I know that like he said because he had Neil had flown out to LA to mix the album with Sean Everett, which resulted in the drums becoming dirtier sounding. And I could tell that the drums were a little more like punchy and crispy than they normally are with Slowdive tracks. Um, I don't know. They maybe needed a bit more like reverb or a bit less high end. I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna tell them how to make their music, but I could definitely tell that was different than usual. Is what I'm trying to get at. But like compositionally, both tracks I really like, and it's like a very simple type of chord progression here, where it goes like 6-1-4, that kind of thing, which works great. And that's the thing with Slowdive. Like when I was listening to Celia's Dream and Eric's song, which are both basically just like 1-4 over and over. Um, they don't mind staying in like simple places if it's like a good place to be, which I really appreciate about them because like this was a very simple track in some ways, and I could see people being bored by this. Um, but like, and it's just so easy to get lost in, you know? It's hard to deny. Very very escapist, you know? It's like they said that the music was more of an escape from the darkness that the band's members were going through. And I can feel that. It's very, has a catharsis to it, which I appreciate. All right, next one is Alife. This one was also a single. This one might be a little bit more poppy and jangly. I'm curious to see. That was a very sudden fade. It almost felt like a manual fade on like a knob. Wow. So, I could see Slowdive fans being like, okay, too poppy. Like that's too straightforward. Meanwhile, like the Wild Nothing and radio department fan in me is like, hell yeah, love it. Yet again, though, like some of the production, like some things just felt a little too strong, a little too weak, a little imbalanced. Which, like, I don't know. I'm not gonna like rake Neil over the coals here, but I'm like, what's going on, man? Usually you're really on top of this, but this feels a little like I don't know. It's really nitpicky of me to point this stuff out, though. Um, yeah, but that was a very like Wild Nothing esque track. Which, if you like that, check out Wild Nothing's first two albums. They're great. A little bit of that indie surf, perhaps, with the riffs. Yeah, I dig that. I dig that. A little abrupt after the first two, which were a little more subdued and mysterious. But I can get behind it. I can get behind it. So the next one is Andalucia Plays. This one might be a little more post-rocky and slow, which could be cool. Interesting. Interesting. So, yet again, like strange production and mixing choices, and like the vocals were sadly the worst part. I don't know, something about the like more like close to the mic sound and like more mouthy sounds, and I don't know, it's like the mixture of like the reverbed sounds with the ones that are reverby. Um the instruments didn't really click super well, but like compositionally I loved it. Like really simple, kind of going back and forth between the major and the relative minor, and then um going up and down like the 4 5 6 5 4, very typical stuff. But it's just very pretty song, but it's just the production is like tripping me up. I don't know what it is. Not bad, but it's like it's one of those things where like as I'm listening to this, I'm saying like, okay, I can see why people don't put this up there with like great slow dive, but this is good slow dive. Like don't just ignore this. I'm glad I'm listening to it now because there is good stuff here. Good stuff. It's just not necessarily in the sum of its parts, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, next track, Kisses. Already heard this, but we'll listen to it again. I actually think this is a strong indie pop outing for them. So well done. Interestingly enough, I would say it's actually probably one of the better produced songs on the album. Um, like his more immediate vocals, also Rachel's mixed really low, like this whole thing. Um, More immediate vocals like lends better to that pop production. The playing is tighter. Also that like acoustic guitar note, which I don't know what note that is. That plays in the little bridge or whatever, before the next verse. But yeah, still probably like a 3.5 for me. But it's solid pop, solid indie pop with the slow dive sensibilities. I don't know. It is kind of funny to see like Slowdive making the type of music that sounds like bands that were influenced by Slowdive's first albums. It's like a weird coming around full circle, which I'm curious as to like if MBV releases any more music, if they're going to sound like that, because the MBV comeback album didn't really have that. It felt like they were just trailblazing, whereas this almost feels like the Ouroboros of derivativeness. I don't know, but Kisses is a fine track. Nothing wrong with it at all. Skin in the Game. Hmm. Hmm. Very, very torn on that one. Again, the composition has been like really strong this whole album. Like, all the playing on that was great. I loved that outro. Um, the like ascend, like going to the minor and then like ascending up to that major again is really nice. And then going back and forth between 1 and 4, can never fault it. It's always great. But again, the vocals, skin into the game. It's like, Neil, you gotta be like 40 feet away from the mic and you need to crank the reverb. Okay. Sorry. I'm being real nitpicky because Slowdive is a band that has, led genres and like has pedigree. And I'm like, not that it isn't working. It's just not what I'm used to, okay? Anyway, I'm just talking about like things coming together as like a whole cohesive piece. And it's like the previous album, the self-titled, did that better. Although I would argue that I think the composition is better on this album than on the self-titled. Like even though there's certain tracks on it that I like Sugar for the Pill, it's a very simple song. And like the self-titled doesn't have a very strong identity in terms of its own atmosphere. This feels like it does a little bit more. But again, it's just like the production is kind of tripping me up here. But whatever. We have 2 tracks left. Chained to a Cloud. Hmm. No, I was looking at like the waveform on my recording for the music and realized that this is like an actually like quite compressed album, which is interesting. Like I know that I don't know, I feel like Neil may have been like mixing some of this with like a shoegaze mindset when it didn't always need it. Because there's definitely like this, I don't know, the attack and release, it feels a little like washy at times. Like that track didn't need to feel that like glued together. I feel like it could have like been a little bit more open and flowy. But all that to say, there were elements of that track that I liked. I think Shanty did a better job with like an arpeggiated synth riff, if you will. And Yeah, yet again, just the production. I don't know. It's just not striking me. I have a weird feeling that maybe if I listen to this stuff more, that will kind of go away. And it's just sort of tripping me up because it's my first reaction to it. Um, I would love, like, if this got like a remaster in 10, 15 years and like some of this stuff just kind of got mixed a little bit better. Um, I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but I feel like if that were to happen, I would probably like this more than the self-titled because there's elements of this that I think are quite strong. I'm very eager to re-listen to like Shanty, Alife, Andalucia Plays, and Skin in the Game. Um, I think there's elements of those tracks that are very cool, very exciting. Speaking of exciting, we're at the end. The Slab. Return the Slab. I'm curious to see what this one sounds like because this single is bolded on Rate Your Music, and it might be a little more darker, like a gothic rock kind of thing. I don't know. Well, let's close this out with The Slab. Neil said the track is the heaviest on the record, and as the name suggests, we wanted it to feel like a big slab of music. Oh, that makes it a little less interesting and mysterious, but that's funny. Oh, that was great. That was sick. The drums were awesome. They're kind of like Radiohead-esque drums, I feel like very tight groove, um, but very large, you know, kind of like a I don't know. Reminds me of There a little bit. That kind of like motoric forward thrust. Very nice. Um, yeah, the composition was awesome. The playing was really good. The delay was sick. It like meshed with the percussion in a really awesome way. Um, yeah, definitely a highlight. That's a slab of music. That's so funny. Oh man. Well, that is Everything is Alive. It is a good album. It's possibly a very good album. It's not great though. It so I would say like Prayer Remembered is probably one of the weaker ones. You could make an argument that Kisses is one of the weaker ones, like contextually in the Slowdive canon. And Chained to a Cloud did not strike me a whole lot. I know a lot of people actually kind of dig Chained to a Cloud. I think Shanty's better. I don't know, but like Shanty, Alife, Skin in the Game, Andalucia Plays to some degree, and the Slab. I'm really eager to re-listen to those and kind of like soak them in a little bit more because the like I said, the composition, the writing, I think was really cool, really interesting, and it's fascinating to see Slowdive in this place where they're like I said, kind of taking pages out of the books of bands who took pages out of their books at one point. And they're not doing it in a boring way. I could see people thinking this album is boring, but I think it's perfectly fine. And given the context of like, it's kind of arose from a dark time and they wanted to make something a little maybe brighter. There's more catharsis in this than in the self-titled. I don't know. It's hard with comeback albums, you know? It's like, do you compare it to the previous discography? And if so, how? Or should you not? It's really hard not to. I don't know. But this was good. I'm very glad that I listened to it. I was debating whether or not I should include it on the list, and I'm glad that I listened to it. So, yeah. That is Everything Is Alive. Next thing that will be coming up will be the, what's it called? I Saw the Sun bootleg, which is 76 minutes long, but it has quite a few tracks on it that I have not heard. And then let me know in the comments if you want me to do the Pygmalion demos. As of right now, I'm not planning on doing it, but if there's enough clamor, I will include it on the list, because it's only 63 minutes. So, yeah, Everything Is Alive. Fantastic album in a way. Not among their best, but strong. It is strong. Is it better than the self-titled? I don't know. Remains to be seen. But very glad I heard it, and we'll be going on to the bootleg coming up next. Okay, everyone. That's all I got for you. I hope you're all doing well. Things to plug, yet again, coffee.com/AlexHeitz. $5 a month gets you access to unedited reactions, of which this is one, and $1 a month access to voting in polls. And then also got to shout out the Discord. Got probably about 175 to 200 members over there. It's not a super active server as far as like interaction goes, but I will post like when I go live usually, and I'll put like links to unlisted YouTube videos on there before they go live and stuff like that. So if you want to join the community of this man, that is where you go to do it. Okay, everyone, I'm done. I am going to hop off. I am glad I listened to that album. I don't have a whole lot more to say. We will be doing a what's it called? A follow-up live stream soon. Probably not the Saturday that this will come out, or the day I'm planning for this to come out, because I have work to do. But at some point soon, we'll be doing a follow-up, and we'll be catching up on a lot of stuff. And hopefully we'll be able to get caught up to the point where we're talking about these Slowdive albums. So, because I've been listening to Just for a Day, or I had been listening to Just for a Day for a good chunk of time, and then I also have things to say about Pygmalion as well. So eager to get to all that. So like I said, hope you're all doing well. Thank you all so much for watching the video. Until next time, take care, fare thee well, and Godspeed.